Welcome to Chok Muay Chats, another episode here on YouTube and, of course, Spotify. Myself, Joe Comerford, content creator, commentator, and just a general fan of Muay Thai. I am joined today by two very, very special gentlemen all the way from the United States of America. The land of, was it the home of the brave and the land of the free?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, welcome, gentlemen. Introduce yourselves for the audience.
My name is Josh Soliva, currently training and helping manage a gym, a rock gym in Rama 3. And I got my guy.
My name is Jonathan Puu. I am the founder of Puu Muay Thai Academy in Ventura, California. I've been traveling to Thailand for 18 years now, fought professionally at low-level pro. Wasn't the best. I got my ass kicked a lot, but we didn't have Muay Thai in my hometown. Brought it in. I now work as a professional ring official. Also have Puu Muay Thai podcast, and I'm here currently in Thailand because I have a group of people here to train at Kiet Kam Thon Gym in Nao Min area here in Bangkok. Been friends with them for a long time. Bring our students over, people from the USA that have a hard time getting and finding accessibility for Muay Thai in the US, and wanting them to come over and experience authentic Muay Thai here in the motherland of the sport, because a lot of people, especially Americans, are afraid of traveling for some reason. And we get them over here and they have a great time, and they spread that seed of Muay Thai in the USA. So that's what we're doing. And I have one guy over here now who's getting ready to compete at the end of the month in the USA.
Awesome. You know, it's really good to hear about the development of American Muay Thai, especially over the last couple of years. You know, it's gone from virtually unheard of. I mean, it was heard of in terms of being the best form of striking for a lot of UFC and MMA fighters. But now, last year, was it last year that the WBC games was at Lumpini Stadium?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. And you saw Team America, not the movie, but Team USA was the biggest team at the alongside the UK.
Yes.
Was the biggest team with the most athletes. Phenomenal.
Yes.
I'm really happy to see that the growth of Muay Thai over in the US, because I've said this to other people. If Muay Thai can break into North America, then everyone wins. You look at the amount of corporate sponsorship in sports. Sport is like a religion in the US. Same with Australia.
Yes.
But that market specifically, if we break into that, bang, man, like everybody wins.
Yes.
No, 100%. No, I agree with that statement. Especially the way fights are promoted in the States, you know, it's like the platform, you know, they have. And if we get Muay Thai into that same level of like a UFC or Western boxing, you know, you're also doing some sanctioning stuff over there too as well.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going on with that, because we were talking before, Joe, before the podcast today. We were talking specifically about regulations in the U.S. You're saying Australia is much different, you know, in that capacity as well. And there's a lot of people that are pushing the bar to try to get into that market in the USA too, because there is some stuff holding it back in that capacity as well.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, sanctioning bodies is a very interesting topic.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, bro.
Sanctioning bodies in themselves is an interesting topic. There are certainly sanctioning bodies who are doing it for the right reasons, and then sanctioning bodies who are just doing it to make a quick buck off the sport. And some sanctioning bodies, especially, I'm not naming names, but ones that may have been more involved in the kickboxing side of things in the 80s.
Yes.
This happened in Australia as well.
Yes.
Was holding Muay Thai back a lot.
Oh, 100%. You know, a lot of those people got into regulatory positions when kickboxing came up in the USA. So they got involved with the boxing commissions that were there that oversee and have the law of the land according to the states. And the thing is, the Thais that were there at the time, they didn't speak English, so they couldn't explain themselves. So for them, they're like, who's this dumb guy that's showing street fighting?
Yeah.
So they're like, the karate is number one, kickboxing is number one. So and it's always kind of been
And
that way.
Muay Thai was always even the philosophy of Muay Thai was very foreign. So it was something they could not comprehend or understand. So they were always trying to I felt like there was a little bit of suppression of the Muay Thai ethos.
Yeah, but there was nowhere to really train there either.
Yeah,
there was
10-4,
people
10-4.
who were going around doing seminars for martial artists that wanted to learn it. You had the Dan Inosantos, who was bringing in Ajahn Chai. There was the Muay Thai Academy in North Hollywood, California, and there's also, I'm slipping on his name. He's a Kung Kamai guy in Omri in Long Beach, California. He's actually the first actual Southeast Asian fighting art training center in USA was there in Long Beach Kickboxing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting because there was a place called Sunrise Kickboxing in South Australia, which was another Kun Khmer gym.
Yeah.
Back in the early days, and they used to run a promotion in Australia. So funny you say that. I won't go too deep into it, but it's almost like Kun Khmer's going through a bit of a golden era over in Cambodia at the moment.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly about the amount of corporate sponsorship that's being put into that at the moment.
Well, it's funny you mentioned this. There's a big American team going over there at the end of this month for it's America versus Cambodia. They're as part of the team for this big Kung Kamai event. So it's interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see the development of the different styles here in Southeast Asia. Now, moving back to our sport, Muay Thai, the explosion of it over the last 5 years. I mean, we could batter this topic to death. It's already been covered in pretty much everybody else's podcast. But what do you think about it? Where do you think the direction of the sport's going in the next 5 years? I'm
going to let my buddy Josh talk here first.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. You have I'm a personally fan of Rajadamnern Stadium. It brings that authentic vibe, and then you have those tables that are just, you don't know, people died. It's like a war zone, people died in that ring, it's fucking crazy, But then I think that I see the sport growing more, and it's the fact that one is doing a good job with bringing it internationally, marketing it internationally. But I see people back home watching RWS now more on Amazon Prime. You know what I mean? So it's they never really back in the day really had that platform. But now with the social media and the technology that we have now today, people are getting more educated. And you would have a normal guy that's not even know anything about Muay Thai, but watches a RWS, where it goes on Amazon Prime, is what the hell is this? This looks brutal. Opens it and then all of a sudden becomes a fan. You know what I mean?
And they're coming into they're coming into the gym afterwards too, and they're like, I know who Rodtang is, I know who Stamp is. They're like, hey, I know Pet Yindi Academy. I'm like, what the heck? This is crazy. Totally normal people in our town that didn't know anything about Muay Thai before. Like I said when we started, no Muay Thai there.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see the explosion. My trainer back home, Andy, he says the same thing. Him and I are pretty much on the same wavelength that we love traditional Muay Thai. RWS is probably the most easily accessible format for traditional Muay Thai. But then one championship serves as the real entry gate for casual fans who know nothing about Muay Thai, and that's the way that they can get their first step into the sport. And then the next step is RWS, which serves a different platform for different fans like us who absolutely live and breathe the sport.
Yeah.
It's got that entertainment side of it, but it's also mixing it with the traditional aspects with the Wai Crew, the Mong Kong, still giving a lot more emphasis to traditional Muay Thai strategy.
Yes.
Letting the clinch go a bit longer, which personally I love. I don't know if Americans love clinching. From what I've seen in fights, not really. That's not a personal dig at America. Yes, it is, but there you go. That's one aspect I think that's really important about you guys bringing Americans over here, right? Getting the clinch aspect.
Well, with that, it's the gym we're at is Kit Kam Ton Gym. They're notoriously a Muay Khao gym, big with the knee and elbow. They had Naparat, Kit Kam Ton. We actually did a free video. It's on YouTube during COVID because they couldn't make money. They couldn't go to China and that stuff. So I paid him to make videos about his knee techniques You know, it's talking about a guy who, you know, I'm not, of course, everybody is amazing in their own right, and one's still fighting, and that person is Saenchai, and the other is not. But Naparat was able to beat Saenchai 3 times in a row, 3 out of their 5 matches. So there's something to be said for that style and for the clinch. And the same thing like my trainer, he was from, it was called, originally used to be called Luke Prabun, and then it was known as Luke Prabat. And they're also known for clinch and knee. Yeah. That's what they were known for. So now Kompetlek, he went to Fairtex. And before that, there was Big Yak, who's the trainer, like Yeltsinklai and Narpol's trainer at Fairtex. He was also from Luke Prabat. So to give like a context for people on Muay Thai and like our understanding, and that's why I always wanted to come to Thailand, because the first time I came here, when I fought, they told me just don't clinch. I'm like, but I want to learn how to clinch. Right? I want to learn how to clinch. So when I found that, and I found somebody that could speak English well enough, like that, I wanted that. And I wanted to find a camp here that I could still train at. It's easier to get to, and it's not like super country. And I found that at this camp back in 2010. So I think it's very important. I agree with you when it comes into that. We're seeing it less and less, and they're modifying their style too. They're bringing in a boxing coach because they understand that, hey, if I get a knockout using small gloves in one, they get a big bonus. Right?
Yeah, that's a big factor, a change factor, because then you see the Thais not play the technical game, but say, fuck it, you know what I mean? Let me get this bonus money real quick.
And Americans like that because it becomes very accessible, because they see the small gloves, they see a knockout, and they're like, oh, this is kind of like the UFC, but it's not.
Majority of when I see Thais get knocked out by foreigners, it's always when the Thai has their back against the ropes.
Yeah.
And then it's in they just get overwhelmed with punches, you know what I mean? So that's like majority of the time I've seen a KO and one is with the small gloves.
And that's allowed some Americans to come up through it too because of that adjustment, and you know, going away from like the bigger gloves into that, not just from like the visual aspect but technical aspect, because Americans love boxing too. It's like a notorious boxing country. So
I see one more like a checkers, and I see Rajadamnern like a chess, you know, sophisticated chess game with the way they do Muay Thai, and then one is like a checkers, like fucking blow for blow, you know, but high speed. It has.
I mean, you can't give a blanket statement like that. They're like, look at, was it Shadow? One of
Shadow.
Yeah.
But bro, he came
from the technical side.
What I say is, like, you know, the fight can be a checkers pace. You know, you got those kickboxers or like that fast paced athleticism, right? That some of the foreigners weaponize their athleticism, and then you got the Thais that have been doing it for so long, but you know what I mean, that know how to neutralize and then turn it into a change the pace and turn it into a technical chess match, because they know how to. Okay, someone's throwing punches. You know, they know the timing. You know, okay, I shoot the teep down the middle, elbows. The timing of the elbow timing is so good. You know what I mean? That if a guy is just coming in swinging like crazy, just like the statement you made about the guy who punches a lot, all it needs is one hard, strong technical style to shoot that elbow down the middle. Then you're thinking twice, am I going to throw these punches over and over again? Or do I need to be smart with my approach? You know, so it neutralizes that intense style, you know what I mean? So, but it goes, it goes between both worlds. It shifts back and forth. Yes.
Yeah. Now, moving on to a little bit more of a controversial topic with the expansion of Muay Thai, we're seeing on social media, it's an educational tool which is being utilised to expose a lot of people to Muay Thai. But with that comes a lot of snake oil salesmen. Okay.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so I know you guys have covered this in a podcast, but this is something I'm quite passionate about. I don't want to use the word disinformation, but inaccurate information, because there's a lot of people, and I feel like this is a thing in this sport, that you have to earn your stripes. Okay, you have to do your time. You have to. Sometimes I don't think it's about being a gatekeeper in the sense, but I think it's about having legitimacy within the sport, having done your time, and not saying that you have to have fought, but at least have given yourself back to the sport. You know, like it all comes down to that thing of like, what have you done for the sport? And that's always my question, because some people, they try and challenge me on subject, and I'm just like, What have you done for the sport? What have you done for fighters? What have you done to try and grow it? So one of the things that concerns me at the moment, and we see, especially on my feed, is a lot of guys coming over here for their first couple of fights. They always fight up in Chiang Mai. And if we know anything about Chiang Mai, it's very, very low development. There's certainly a lot of Thais that can fight really well. I fought up there quite a lot back in the day, and there was a lot of good Thais, and there's some not so many good Thais up there. Yeah. But generally speaking, the scene is very low level, and a lot of local fighters will be encouraged to take a dive for people making their first entrance into the ring. Now, the problem with this is this gives these fighters coming from overseas an inflated ego, and then they start selling ebooks and courses. I think I've seen one. Talking about this. I saw one the other day where one guy was leading up to his first fight, and then he's starting selling ebooks about fighting. And I'm just going, what is going on in the world of Muay Thai?
Yeah. Well, speaking on that too, we call this influencer fraud. So anybody who's listening out there wants to hear more on that from us, like, we're not going to go too deep, but we'll hit on it a little bit.
I agree with everything he just said.
Yeah, 100%. But it's called the Influencer Fraud Puu Muay Thai podcast. Go check it out. There's a lot that touches on this from the American side that we're talking about too. And it's people who are trying to get in on the money. They see a potential opportunity. They think there's money there. And rather than giving something, they just take.
It's disingenuous. It's disingenuous. They don't understand, like, okay, the elite stadiums in Thailand, and then you have the rural stadiums. You know what I mean? But then at the end of the day, it's like they're trying to sell something, and it's like, but like you said, what have you done? Like with your content, I see you promoting actual real stories of human beings. You know what I mean? But with them, it's like, I see a guy back in the States, never been to Thailand, only has 2 amateur fights, and he's on dynamic striking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and this person's training Anderson Silva. The UFC fighter.
His kid.
Hey, from like a marketing perspective, fucking good for him. He did it.
Yeah, but
like that's what I gotta say. And we don't say their name because I don't want to give people like that credit.
But that is disingenuous because it's like the people back home that they go back home. They don't know any better. They haven't been in the industry. They haven't seen the ins and outs, how the stadium is, people cutting weight, the people getting fucked up, going to hospital. They don't see those things. They only see the good things they see on the social media, and it's like this big high they get everyone on. You know what I mean? And then it's like, and then but that's why I like your content, because it educates real, like some people may say you're just talking, but it's actual the real shit,
it's the real
story.
Yeah.
And we need more of that because we need to educate the people on what actually goes on versus all the pretty things that everyone's perfect. So that one person on social media is perfect.
Josh, you had a great sound bite on that podcast that we did. You're saying they want to bring them to Treasure Island. They're bringing you to Treasure Island. When you get there, there's nothing on the fucking island.
False promises. It's like. And it's like I see some things too. Sometimes I'll see an influencer online and he's drilling technique or showing a technique, and I'm like, dude, that would never work in the Thai stadium. Fucking hell, like that's shit's insane.
Yeah,
so many people like it,
dude. But it's a big attention grab too. And that's one of the things. And it's important for fighters to understand that you have to do this. And I can't tell you how many times I've met amazing fighters, but no one knows who the fuck they are when it comes from the West. And these people, I'm like, you have this massive imposter syndrome. And meanwhile, you have some people like straight up, probably like very narcissistic in some ways. Yeah. And they're able to capitalize on that for people. And it really sucks to see.
Yeah, it's I don't want to just sound like an old man shouting at the clouds, but it's something that really, really bugs me at the moment. And it's not coming from a sense of jealousy or anything, because I'm in quite a decent position in the industry. But we're trying to save lives here. Yeah. We're trying to grow this sport so that everyone wins, and then these guys are just blockading the progression of the sport that we love, you know?
And we've invested.
100%.
I literally sold my blood to be able to train Muay Thai.
Yeah.
I was selling and donating my blood, and I would get money, and I'd put it towards my Muay Thai training. Like, that's literally what I did. And I was anemic, and I had to take in, like, the iron pills. I wasn't supposed to donate blood, but I figured out a way because I wanted to fucking do Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Right? And you see these people come in, and it's not, like you said, it's not from a place of jealousy. You know, I'm very happy with where I'm at, and I'm very confident in what I do. But it's proof that there is some of this market coming there, and you're going to get more of these snake oil salesmen coming in. And I think people really have to kind of like know the signs for it.
Absolutely, and you know, it's one of those things of you've got to be able to sift through the bullshit, and they're certainly online at the moment, especially on Instagram. There's just tons of it, and you know, I'm not about to go and call out people because I don't feel like that's kind of really effective in any sense, but at least from our stance and our position within the industry, we can at least educate people to go, look, maybe you need to utilize critical thinking to actually think, who is this guy? Oh, he's had 2 fights in Chiang Mai. Maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about, you know?
It's nuts. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, with that, there is some people that are out there that have been doing it, and I think are good. Paul Benasiak, you know, Muay Thai technician, great person. I met him when I met Josh here at WK Worlds, and Paul said he was going to do exactly what he's doing now, and people gave him so much shit, so much hate. Like, I remember people, I'm like, I guess we're gonna see, right? I just left it at that. I'm like, I'm gonna reserve my comments. And look what he's fucking doing now. Like he did the thing. That's exactly what he said. And I always give him props for that too. There was Sean Fagan. You know, he did the the Muay Thai guy. Yeah, he was out here, lived here, fought.
Was in Koh Phangan
he was
for a
very
while.
transparent about like his level of fighting. You know, and it's the same thing for me. Like I'm transparent about my level of fighting.
At least be honest about it. Don't act like you're like some high level, you know, especially from what he said, you know.
Hey,
like, just be honest.
kiss my feet, bro.
Yeah.
I fought against a tuk-tuk driver in Chiang Mai.
You know. Yeah, 100%. It's like even a guy, you know, explaining a teep for like a minute. I'm like, bro, all you the teep's the jab in Muay Thai. You know, it's like, why are you explaining all these, making it sound harder, complicated? Because people, there's way too much people trying to teach Muay Thai online, but never actually have experienced real Muay Thai. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's also people's health and well-being at stake in terms of you're jumping in. You know, there was a couple of years ago when I was fighting, it was must have been about 2015, 2016. There was a woman in Australia who ran a franchise of women's only Muay Thai gyms. And she was marketing self-defense classes. She'd never fought. She'd only come over to Tiger Muay Thai twice. And I was running a page at the time that was called Australian Muay Thai News. And then somebody sent me a message and, oh, look at this, you know. I was like, oh, I don't want to jump on the hater raid. But I looked into it and I was like, wow, this is really, this is women's health, safety at stake because she's selling snake oil. And it's she's holding sparring classes and she's never fought. She's never done any officiating, trainers courses or any sort of...
So lack of safety.
Yeah, lack of safety, you know, and crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I see this a lot. I actually got some like weird targeted ads in the U.S. and they're saying that they can become a certified self-defense expert, right? On a 1-day course, and they can teach a business model and they get all the curriculum in one day. I'm like, you can't teach somebody how to fight. Like you can teach them a basic concept, but you got to practice that day in, day out. Like we all know this in Muay Thai. We know it. You have to. And there's always going to be somebody that's still going to smash the shit out of you, and he's probably 12 years old.
It's a false prestige. They sell a false prestige. You train with me, but they don't know any better to look at the experience or see who's influencing them. You know what I mean?
But it's the marketing, and that's one of those things why it's so important what you do, Joe, because it's when there's a lot of people who are great fighters and there's no one to tell the story because they're too busy doing the thing, right? And you need somebody to document and sacrifice because it's like you don't really make anything from that. Like if you were, I'm just gonna take a wild guess. I don't know what you make, but if you were making what you're making here back in Australia, you'd probably be living in a van or something like that, a caravan, right? So same thing for me. It's like you have to find a way to make it work, and it's people always have this optic that there's a lot to it, right? And they're gonna get this. And it comes from a big sense of marketing. Like I was telling you, we're in a marketing agency too. And I see it time and time and time again. And it sucks to see it, man. It really does. But in that health and safety is so key.
Just to be transparent, I make from Muay Thai.
So
I make dollars from Muay Thai. All of this is just a massive passion project. I have my main job from Monday to Friday, and the rest is just pure love for the sport. So there you go.
well, I hope that changes for you at some point in the future, man. Because it's one of those things that, I'm just going to say, if you're listening to this, like, find out a way to support this guy, merchandise, Venmo, whatever you need to do to, like, click
PayPal,
PayPal, whatever,
I don't
something,
think
man.
Australia has Venmo.
But something that you can use. But it's just, it's hard, man, and there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into it.
I think what he already does, the educating people of how the lifestyle is already a lot, because then you can educating the people, that the viewers, like what's fact and what's fiction, giving them an eye, be able to see. You have gold. Is this real gold? How do you know it's real gold? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, going in. Kind of not to go too far off track on it too, but going back onto that, like what we call the influencer fraud, you're saying snake oil salesman, some basic things to look at is just ask them questions. Just be genuine. It's okay. Like if people come to me, there's no such thing as a dumb question. I've had people standing looking straight at me, and there's a picture of me fighting on the wall, and they go, "Have you ever fought before?" And it's okay. I'm just like, yeah, actually, that's me right there. Like, oh, I didn't know that was you. I'm like, yeah, I don't blame you. I have like gray hair and shit now.
Yeah.
I look way younger there. It's normal.
Yeah. Now, the other thing that's happening at the moment is living in Thailand, a lot of people will hit me up online to get them opportunities. And I feel, hey, big man. Yeah. No. And I think that's fine. I think because everybody deserves an opportunity to get their feet wet. One of the things that we have to be careful with about giving people opportunities is with them following through with it.
Yeah.
So, obviously with the SKS connection, every Sunday I've asked for people if they want to fight on there. Now, unfortunately, I get a lot of names, and then I give them a rough date, and they'll say yes, and then a week later they go, "Oh no, I can't. I don't want to because I want to go on holiday." I've had this about 5-6 times, and I'm just like, "Mate, I'm not getting you another opportunity because you've just wasted it."
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of jaded on this aspect. So we have this issue really big in the U.S. too, and it's really is actually harmed the fight scene and the promoters. I've seen promotions go away because of fight dropouts because people want that picture up there, and they pull out, and there's not a lot of consequences for it. Some sanctioning bodies, which is good in some aspects, is they enforce suspensions for people like that. Sometimes 6-month or 1-year suspension for pulling out without cause. I've also seen that go unenforced when it's supposed to be enforced. I had a fighter who showed up on weight. And he's supposed to be fighting this big guy that was getting promoted in the U.S. We were the underdogs. I knew he was going to beat the shit out of this guy, and because I trained him, he'd beat the shit out of me every day on pads, and we're sparring and clinching. Kid showed up overweight, so I said, "Hey, fuck it, we're still fighting you." This kid's dad, he's like all machismo, came in my face and was trying to say my fighter was scared, and I told him, "Get the fuck out of my face. We're still fighting you. We're still fighting you, and we're gonna beat your ass." The next day he showed up. Hey, he's nowhere to be found. We were the main event. We sold probably over 100 tickets. So now the promoter is gonna have to say, "Hey, sorry, I'm gonna keep your money even though you're not fighting." No, they're gonna fucking figure out a way. And he said yes to trying to figure out all these different ways to fight and everything. But the promoter ends up taking a hit. The person who booked the fight, you in this case, takes the hit. The promoters go, "I don't know if Joe is a good connection," because everybody he sends and says he has fights, they fall through and I lose money, right? And the promoter loses money on it. They lose out on views. They lose out, which is part of marketing.
It fucks everything up.
The more eyes they see and the more volume in international exposure, and the more clicks, these things that we talk about in marketing, the CPM, burn rate, those are things that are marketing that allow you to get money into the sport. So really, it's hurting the sport in many ways that people don't even realize. And it's that I want it now attitude as well. Like the Instagram click, the dopamine hit. I gotta fight, right? It's like, hey, you gotta follow through with that shit.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just learnt some information today from somebody very close to me who works in the industry in and around the stadiums at Bangkok. Now, if you pull out of a fight, your matchmaker has to pay a fee to the stadium.
Oh, shit.
Around to 3 to 5.
Did you know that?
That's the first time I'm hearing it now.
Yeah, around to 3 to 5,000 baht.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's
makes sense. Now, if that matchmaker gets multiple pullouts, they get blacklisted from the stadium.
Yeah.
So here we are. These are the implications of all you people out there who keep pulling out for really silly reasons. And I made a reel about this just before because I was really annoyed about it.
Heated.
Yeah. It's something that really annoys me. In my career, never pulled out once. Never pulled out once of a fight. Had plenty of people pull out on me, but never pulled out. Now, obviously, there are unforeseen circumstances, but I've heard of fighters whose parents have died the day before a fight.
They still fight.
And they still fight. I've heard of them being in a motorbike crash, still fight. Mate, if you're too scared to fight, then maybe you should not be fighting at all, because these have a lot of consequences on people within the industry who are trying to do you a favor. And whilst you're on holiday and it's all about the experience, you're screwing up people's livelihoods. A lot of these matchmakers, they have to give money to gyms. It all trickles down in the industry, and you're having a big implication on the sport.
Oh, and we all talk too. That's the thing. For anybody that's watching this, it won't affect me. Trust me, it'll probably come back in ways that like we can't even expect. It's going to be one of those things that just happens. I've seen it time and time again in the sport.
It's a major sin. It's a major sin in Muay Thai to do that.
It's not even just Muay Thai. Like all combat sports, entertainment industry.
100%.
Yeah, as your character.
Not grateful. You know, you got to understand everyone's a part. You know, you're a part of you have to contribute to that ecosystem. You know what I mean? And if you don't, then you just fuck everyone over.
Yeah, and just for anybody that's out there, any listeners, and just you don't have to say yes. You don't have to reach out and do this stuff. Like, you gotta really make sure you have a strong why. That way, when shit gets tough, you're ready to, if you're sick, whatever it is, you're still climbing in the ropes and you go give it your all. Like, I've fought with injuries and shit like that before. Like, I think that's pretty normal. There was an American fighter. He had third-degree burns on his leg, and they hit it with makeup to be able to fight on Glory Kickboxing.
Shit, I had food poisoning before I fought a Raja.
That was Zach Bonnell in the USA. It's like I major props to that guy because he's been an underdog on a lot of shit too. And it's just he took those opportunities even when it was up in weight. It's like 'cause you have to, and that's how you make a name. And that's why I'm
it's
talking
beautiful.
about him. Yeah,
Had a mate who fought down in Phuket last week with pneumonia.
Shit.
Yeah, that is no joke.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Is he getting better?
Yeah.
He's getting better. Good, because I know that can be really bad when you stress your body like that. With
I've seen
you
people,
can die from that.
I've seen people have like pissing on their stool, man, before the fight. You know, even at the having like diarrhea and shit, and just pissing on the little benches over there.
Immediately disqualified.
Yeah.
Immediately.
But no excuse, you know. But no excuse because
They still showed up.
They're still there fighting, even though they're pissing themselves. You know what I mean? There's something wrong with them.
And I know fighters that had staph infections and these things that like where there it wasn't infection like contagious, but they were still on the antibiotics and stuff like that, or they're coming back from just like broken bone, whatever it is, severe illness. Like you said, people dying. Like you hear about this a lot.
And of course, we have to treat this with a realm of sensibility as well.
Yeah.
If you've got these afflictions, you shouldn't be training anyway. If you've got staph, then you shouldn't be stepping into the gym because you're going to give it to everybody in the gym. That's a thing in Thailand as well, man.
There was a meme I just shared the other day.
Yeah,
Did you see
the
it?
zombie one?
This is a zombie. He's like, oh man, it's just a rash. It's nothing to worry about. And it's the guy with staph infection.
It's just bed bugs.
Yeah, it's just. Oh man, it's from putting the DEET spray on the mosquito spray.
Yeah. The amount of times I've shouted at New Jacks. Guys, I sound like such an elitist, but guys that are doing their first trips or girls that are doing their first trips, and they might not be educated about stuff. You got to give them benefit of a doubt, but the amount of times you got to say, man, go home. Like, what are you doing? Because the other consequence is you're gonna get the Thai fighters and then they can't fight. And they survive off these fight purses, you know?
You're fucking with their money. And there is, just to touch on that real quick, you can die from staph infections.
Hey.
There was somebody who died last year from training down in South Thailand. I'm not going to name the place or anything, but he was doing jiu-jitsu apparently. He died, he was like 19 or 20 years old, died of a staph infection that he got in Asia, Southeast Asia.
Please be considerate of your trainers and your training partners and everything before you go to the gym.
Yeah, we
have that.
It really upsets me. Like I've had, I've gotten it from people before, and I asked them. It's like, new people. We do everything we can, like our gym, give them a bunch of paperwork, have the media everywhere, and people have like a hard time. They think like, oh, it must not be me, but it probably is. If you hear somebody saying it multiple times, they can be trying to be nice and show you that, like, hey, this is you. You should like go clean your fucking hand wraps, right? Or like, they're going to be very direct to you too. For me, I just direct no, just nope. Like I said, go home, no, or hey, new hand wraps are $10. You want me to charge your card? Like you just like this is what's going to have to happen. And I think here in Thailand too, like the way it is in Asian culture to be that direct for those things. They don't want to fuck with their money because it's the customer coming in, too.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. The saving a face sort of thing. And, obviously there's kind of... This is what I love about Thais and Thai culture is they're so hospitable and they will bend over backwards just to see a smile on your face.
Yeah.
But then also, because they have a real customer care attitude. Now... A lot of this stuff is self-responsibility. You have a responsibility to educate yourself about these things. That's why we're saying it now. If you get a staph infection, stay home. If you're sick, stay home. These rules apply whether you're in a gym here or whether you're at home as well.
It's like you got 5 people, whatever, they're about to fight at the stadium or something, and then that one guy doesn't have that self-awareness, comes into the gym, gets everyone sick, including the trainers, and it just fucks everything up.
I'm going to put it in adult terms here real quick. If you think you might have herpes, would you go over and go sleep with a bunch of people thinking like, it's probably just a rash? No, you would fucking wait. It's the same thing. Like you just don't risk it because... It'd be much better to you tell your trainer, like, hey, I might have an infection. Here's the picture. This is what it looks like. I'm not going to come in until it kind of clears up or I see a doctor. And it's very important for them to know that. You're smiling like a great...
No, that's because your analogy correct.
Yeah, it's true, though. It's true.
Nah, I've seen... even when I was training down in Phuket, I would see a guy with... just weird shit on his face, and I'm like, nope, I'm not clinching with you. Just to say it, just because some people don't have that awareness, and it's like, man, I know what herpes looks like on the face. I've seen the photos, at the clinics and stuff, man. It's like, that looks kind of funny, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you got to be aware of these things, man. Protect yourself and everyone around you.
That's it. Self-awareness and self-introspection is a rare gift these days.
Yeah. Being self-responsible, too.
Exactly. Now, just moving on from that, the next thing I wanted to talk about is foreigners and conducting themselves appropriately in Thailand.
Wait. Here's what you don't do.
They get pissed. That shit's hella bad.
Don't touch your Thai trainers on the head like that, ever.
Okay. Another couple of things is if you are frequenting the bars or going around in the nightlife, the first words you'll ever learn in any language is the bad words. never use the bad words with Thais. It is incredibly rude, especially if you don't have that relationship with them. Just try and forget the bad words. That's my kind of little tip. The next thing is never go to training smelling like alcohol. Big part of it.
I just put that out in our group today for the people like, hey guys, like it's okay to like if you're gonna go out and go drink, don't bring it to the camp, don't show up intoxicated, don't smell like it because it's just disrespectful to everybody.
Yeah, man. It's like you got to be.
Why? The way you show up smelling like whiskey sometimes?
I train under the notorious Ajahn Pipa, man. He's the drunken master, but he does his job though.
The first time you met him, did you show up drunk?
No.
Exactly.
No.
So like you have that rapport, you have a different rapport with him, and you actually live with him.
Yeah. No, but no, 100%. You know, it's there's that mutual respect. That it's just common sense. You know what I mean? And then, but there's some people they come in and the way they carry themselves is really, really bad. Really bad. You know, but if you don't have that rapport,
yeah.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Another thing I would say, it's always important to go pay respect to all the trainers when you show up, especially in new gym and you don't have that rapport. Go say hello.
Oh, yeah.
It's very important because you're coming into their house and they don't know you. They don't know, like you might have great intentions, but unless you do that, they don't know that like you are respectful. They might think maybe you have like a resting bitch face. And they might be like, this guy, I don't know if he's like a dick or what.
It's just for their best interest to Sawadi every time because I'll see new people that don't understand the culture and they don't Sawadi the trainers. And it's just pretty much like I don't give a fuck about you attitude. And it's not good because you see these trainers holding pads every day. They're absorbing impact, you know, they're taking pain, taking punishment, you know what I mean? And then it's like, why should I take care of this guy if he's not grateful? You know, he's not showing any gratitude. You know,
absolutely. A please and a thank you goes a long way here in Thailand.
Yes,
and especially if it's in Thai, learn a little bit of Thai. Even if you're terrible at languages, learn to say please, thank you, and hello, and that will go a long way here, making your journey in Thailand a lot smoother. I think another thing is just having respect for people. You know, you're allowed to have fun here. You're on holiday or you're on a training trip. You are allowed to have fun, but do it in a respectful manner. Follow the laws. At least if you're traveling around the world, respect the local customs, respect the local laws. You know, don't generally, like, this is just a life hack. Don't be a dick.
You know what I said? Like the analogy I used for them is don't do something don't do anything beyond what you wouldn't do at your work party.
You know,
so because it's kind of like hey, you can let loose a little bit. It's okay, but around the people that are there, you still want to conduct yourself in a way that like is not going to incriminate you or anybody else that's with you that can get them in trouble too. And also, like, you don't want to make an ass of yourself. You don't want to make an ass of yourself in front of your coworkers.
It fucks it up for all the people that are here on a proper visa. You got all that free visa shit going on, and the foreigners are acting crazy and doing crimes and not paying people and doing stupid shit. You got people here that are trying to stay here long term, and it's like, don't fuck it up for us too as well. You know, it's like I see those crazy videos online, man, like down in Phuket and Pattaya, you know, and it's just like,
exactly, man. You know, like. I got family here. My life is here. You know, I'm married to a Thai. Don't ruin it for the rest of us. You know, there's at the moment the big thing in Thailand is Pai, the town in the north just above Chiang Mai, right?
Yeah, they have the group of people that we can't talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
And well, it's not just that group of people that we can't talk about, but it's just generally foreigners in general.
It was a big thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing of foreigners not respecting the local customs, walking around with no shirt on, acting all drunken, having fights, stealing things from shops, crazy behaviour, stuff that you wouldn't dream of doing in your home country. You don't bring that here.
Well, I think for some of the thing is, like, it goes into a cultural thing. Like, Chok Muay was having some issues with that stuff too, right? Because they, in a big, like, part of, like, these countries that expatriate and show up in Thailand, that show up, you know, in other countries, Bali, other places in Southeast Asia, and they kind of create like their own colony in some ways. And it feels like, you know, you go to Phuket, you see the big signs in Russian, right?
Yeah, yep.
They don't assimilate. So the issue with a lot of expats, well, it's funny, the whole term expat, but whatever, a lot of people don't assimilate with Thais. They will just go and create their own little groups. And that's why I live in a very Thai area, because I don't really want to talk to other foreigners.
Yeah,
apart from you guys,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah, no, I feel that.
But, you know, it's why would you move to another country to just hang around with your own people all the time?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Wouldn't you like to be involved in general society? That's just my thoughts anyway.
Yeah, man. No, there was this story when I was in Soy Taid in 2019. There was a guy, I don't remember his name, but he was about to sign with the UFC, but he was from like some Middle Eastern country. And in the country that he was from, they didn't really have alcohol. They're not used to drinking alcohol. So he didn't know how to handle his alcohol because it's illegal for wherever he's from, right? So he goes there, and the lady's selling. There's like this 60-year-old lady selling roti, and then there's this old man. He's probably in his 60s as well, right? And he goes, and he's drunk out of his mind, and he's calling this lady a bitch, dude. And then the guy, the old Thai guy, he just like freaks out, flips out. He's like, I had enough, you know, and then ends up stabbing the dude in the neck. And he goes to the hospital, but the old Thai guy didn't even get any sentence or any charge. And there was a big argument on the whole like Soy Thai Eid. There was like a group page on Facebook, but I'm like, don't go to people's homes and like fucking, you know, disrespect, you know. And it's like, dude, if someone was calling your wife a bitch and you've been working all day and just like he's drunk out of his fucking mind and he's a fighter on top of that.
If I feared for my life and he was going to physically attack me in the U.S., we would just shoot him.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of the things.
Yeah, talking a gun thing.
Land of the free, right?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the thing is being able to defend yourself in that aspect too. And like, I can understand that. If somebody does to me, I'd be very, very upset as well. 100%.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, the whole sort of expat debate. But I mean, it's really just common sense. Don't be disrespectful, especially if you're representing our sport. You know, you can handle yourself. This sport teaches you how to handle yourself properly, but also with the traditions of our sport teaches you a lot about manners and respect. And a lot of this comes from Thai culture. Like, Thai culture is so conjoined with Muay Thai culture that really you should be taking those values and applying them to your daily life. You know, just general stuff, being nice, being, you know.
Well, you know, and to just touch on this too, and we understand that some of you guys are just fucking animals. We get it. Yeah. You guys are crazy, especially fighters. No one said they had to be good people. We were talking about this before, and some of the best fighters are a little bit wild, right? Of course, there's going to be some outliers. Doesn't mean you have to be like that too, though. Right? You can be that. You can be a martial artist. You can be a fighter. You can do all those things and keep it. The proof is in the pudding here in Thailand. You see it all the time. You see the fighters when they talk. Yeah, I had a good fight. Yeah.
Well, you have some fighters that lose it. I say life philosophy. You know, you have some fighters that compromise their mental health by the way they are. But then you see with Muay Thai, it's like a Zen approach to striking. But then you see that these people, when they age and they get old, their mental health is good. You know what I mean? They're still like doing things. They're still healthy. You know, they're not doing crazy shit. That's just extra. That's energy put towards wasted extra energy, unnecessary energy. You could just be putting that energy into like your own craft. You know, a lot of ego. You know, put a lot of energy into ego. But I like the ethos, the Muay Thai ethos, because I believe that it's good for longevity as well, and just like life philosophy and a healthy mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah. The other thing, I think you talked about it, was sakyan for people. I waited like 15 years before I started getting sakyan at all, because I wanted to make sure, I don't have any tattoos on my body except for that. 2, I wanted to make sure I understand what the fuck I was doing, right, and why I was doing it. And number 3, like from a cultural standpoint too, I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting some that was going to be. Remember, there was that fighter, I forget his name, and they spelled like dick
Jimmy
Benoit.
Benoit.
And he was like a picture of him with it like up close after one of his fights.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
he eventually got it fixed up. It was online for a while, and it was it was pretty funny. And it's one of those funny things. You got to be really careful about what you get tattooed on your body, especially when you're coming over here in Thailand. The amount of those memes you see on Facebook of like somebody
Getting a Chinese symbol or something.
Yeah, I love Somtum, or you know. I would actually get that tattooed.
Yeah,
by the way.
sometimes it's pretty legit. But that's it. That's another thing too, is like the respect Buddha. You know, don't get the Buddhist tattoo when you're here and stuff like that too, because it's not respectful to the culture. If you have it already, hey, you didn't know.
Yeah.
You can explain yourself very easy. Hey, I didn't know that was a whole thing here, and I got this tattoo because it looked fucking cool. Like people also, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can have a chance to do it, but now that if you're hearing this and you know it, just stay away from it.
Generally speaking, Thais will give you the benefit of the doubt because you're a foreigner, but that doesn't mean that you can't handle yourself with respect and treat them with dignity. So just be mindful.
100%.
Yeah, and one of the other things too, guys, is remember when you're going to these gyms, a lot of them have a lot of experience behind them. You know, multi-generations of experience. And believe me, you can talk to them. If you have a translation issue, it's okay. Speak slowly. Take your time. Do your best to not get upset, no matter how hot-headed you are. And just try to be fucking coachable. Because a lot of people say, oh, that's not how you do it. The thing is, you can go to so many different places, so many different styles. There's no one style of Muay Thai. That's what makes Muay Thai great. Because it's not like martial arts like Wing Chun where you have to block this way, otherwise it's fucking wrong. It's like, no, if it works, yeah, you can do it. And that's one of those things very important for people to understand when it comes into it. And being open-minded and being coached and being open to these people that have multiple generations of experience, hundreds and hundreds of fights behind them and their why. They can't always condense that into a 5-day period when they have you.
Absolutely. What do you think about? I was just thinking about.
I'm wondering what you're gonna say right now.
That's good. Perfect.
What do you think? And you would have come across this when you've trained over here. You're training in the gym. All right, I'm going to set the scene. You're hitting the bag, okay, and you've been here for a couple of years. You've had fights over here, and you have a decent understanding of Thai. You have a decent understanding of Thai culture. And then Johnny Rocket walks into the gym. He's been here 2 days.
Oh.
And then he comes up to you while you're hitting the bag and starts giving you pointers.
Oh, fuck, bro. I just fucking mass retardation to the fullest.
No, I've never had this happen. Never had it happen.
Oh, no, man. It's just like you fucking dude. Like I can't fucking stand it, bro. You got people that have been lifers that have been here. They're fucking enduring pain. You know, they're doing the road work. They're running in the mornings and running in the afternoons. And you got a guy who's not even doing the road work. You know what I mean? Let alone he's over here and he's trying to coach everybody, you know, and he's not even being respectful at least. It's like, dude, before you come, that's why I had a couple of people that I sent over here and I told their coaches back home, make sure you teach them the etiquette, because that's one quick way to get just not realize you blacklisted yourself from the whole Muay Thai thing, you know what I mean? You don't show any good character. You're on the Nisai Maidi, they say bad character, you know what I mean? You don't show any good traits. Why are we gonna empower you with these weapons, the skills, you know what I mean? It's a quick way to fuck yourself over if you're like that, you know what I mean? And so it's like, don't be that person, you know, come here, put your head down and be an empty cup, you know, like learn everything, you know, don't be the person that knows everything and fucks himself over.
Yeah, it's very important. But you get this in I think in any martial art in the world, this exists. By the way, it's very important for you to understand and know how to accept it. I say, oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah, same.
Because the thing is, no matter what you say, it's not going to probably won't come across nice, and you just let the Thai trainers
deal with it.
Yeah, let the trainers deal with it, and if it becomes a continual issue, you can talk with them, and they'll probably notice it too.
There's always just thinking about this. There's always that one guy whenever you go to a Muay Thai gym in Thailand and there's females present, and he's just giving out free tips to the females. Oh, man.
Don't be creepy, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't be a creep. Don't just... Sorry.
Treat everybody. You have to treat everybody the same.
We there is Muay Thai tourism and there's sex tourism. You know, I think they probably got that shit mixed up. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying, and some people it's definitely, and there's some cultures where that's more accepted, right? And there is definitely a cultural thing in some countries. Do your best to be aware of it. And treat everybody the same. That's the one thing that my Thai instructor always said. When you're training, everybody's the same. There's no difference between men, women, anything like that. You treat everybody the same when you're training with them. You teach everybody the same when you're teaching them. Like you spar with everybody the same. Of course, you're not going to go blast somebody who's much smaller than you, right? Or go hard on a big guy just because he's bigger than you. But you treat everybody the same, and you don't really have any issues that way.
Now, the last topic, just to close things up, because I know you guys have got things to do. Well, I don't know if you do or not, but I'm just assuming. Fighting at an appropriate level in Thailand. Now, this is an interesting one that I try and give out as much advice as possible. A lot of guys and gals will try and get the big opportunities straight away. Again, not trying to be big note myself or anything like that, but because of the commentary stuff, I get a lot of people asking me, can you get me a fight on here? Can you get me a fight on here? Can you get me a fight on here? But some of these people, what I'll ask is, how many fights you had? What's your experience like? I've had 3 amateur fights back home. Okay, yeah, sorry, no. Why not? Well, because you're not experienced enough. I think a really important thing is knowing your level and fighting on the right stadiums or the right circuit, depending on your level.
Well, that's a red flag right there, is the fighter reaching out trying to do it. Like, if you're here in Thailand, have your coach be the person that tries to get it for you, right? Have your coach be that person.
And you know, if you try to take shortcuts, you know, there's like that shortcut route as the people are trying to jump right away and get into that thing. You know, you fuck your own growth up. You know what I mean? You mess your own process up. You know, just go through the actual motions that you actually need to go through. Don't stop trying to do. Like you said, the why. Some people want attention, they want that fame, that glory, and that's what they prioritize over actual real growth, actual real experiences that are gonna help them grow. You know what I mean? And that's what I like about it's so innate. The Muay Thai way is so innate. Win, loss, who gives a fuck? You know, just fight at the fucking stadium. Yeah. You know what I mean? Go through the thing. Don't put the ego. The bowing is already the eradication of the ego. You know, just a simple bow, even to a taxi driver on the side of the road. You know what I mean? So it's like you go through the actual motion. Stop trying to skip steps.
Yeah, very key. And I just say, anybody that's out there, like, if this sounds like you and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know, like, we're not attacking you. It's part of education. Like, it's one of those things we talked about. Is media is important, and that's why people like you, Joe, that does it. It's part of the reason why I do what I do.
The stuff that Matt Lucas has done for the last sort of like 10 years has been hello world, has been really important. A lot of the writing that he's done has given a lot of people information to go off from and start.
Can I drop F-bombs on here?
Yes.
Man, fuck Matt Lucas. I'm just kidding, bro. Matt, I love you, man. You're a good dude. I've known him for a long time, like we were talking about.
Yep.
And he's big on it. For people who look on it, definitely somebody to listen to.
He's definitely like one of the primary, what I would say is like a primary source of education for people looking to come over here. You know, there's other content creators doing it as well. Sylvie Von Douglas does some great stuff.
You want to know a funny story about Sylvie Von Douglas?
Yeah, go on.
So back in my day, when I had less gray hairs. So on YouTube, when you used to search Muay Thai and you sort by update date, you'd maybe have one page of new content every day. I used to go through every day on YouTube, and there'd be maybe a page. And then one day, Sylvie's first video popped up, and I've been following her ever since. When she was training in the garage in New Jersey, and I saw her whole journey. Seeing that whole journey when she first went to Lana Muay Thai and seeing all this stuff, I've never met her, but I feel like I know her. Like you can tell by the way I'm talking, and a lot of people do, I'm sure.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. Definitely check out Matt Lucas. Definitely check out Sylvie Von Douglas for probably a more academic approach towards education for Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Her and her husband Kevin do a lot of kind of anthropological kind of research on Muay Thai now. Really good stuff. Check it out on Reddit as well. She's got a Patreon. Check out Matt Lucas's book on fighting in Thailand. He also had an old podcast called Fighting in Thailand. That
Still up.
Still up?
Yeah.
Yeah, still around.
It's hard to listen to him then because he wasn't as good at speaking then. Matt, I love you. I've given him this feedback before, but it is some great content. You like Francis Watana on there and a few others, and it's really. I always recommend people that book too. So definitely 100%.
Yeah, certainly jump on those things. If you like my content, jump on my YouTube, Joe Comerford Muay Thai. Gentlemen, where can people find you online for what you guys are doing as well?
Well, you can follow us at Puu Muay Thai, PUUMUAYTHAI on Instagram and on TikTok. You can also find us at podcast.puumuaythai.com. We're available. Our podcast, Puu Muay Thai, has been going on 5 years now. We've been doing podcasts, Mexico, USA, Canada, Thailand, probably some other places. Shout out to we have a pretty big Australian listener base, actually, of our podcast, which is pretty cool. So shout out to you guys from the land down under. You can find us on there and, give us a shout. Let us know you either heard us on Joe's podcast. So we always love to talk more and connect more Muay Thai people.
Josh Soliva 95 on Instagram. Also, hit me up if you want to train. I'm training under Ajahn Pipa. He has an interesting approach to Muay Thai, and we're also planning to open a new Muay Thai program here soon. We're looking for trainers right now, and we're in that stage of grooming or whatever how you call it, setting up the atmosphere for the gym.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah. So,
well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you have listened to this, thank you very much. This is Chok Muay Chats. Not sure what episode. I think it's episode 36. Like, share, subscribe. Find it on YouTube, Spotify, and of course, Puu Muay Thai. Not Puu Muay Thai.
Puu.
Puu.
It's Hawaiian. We like to scrap, brother.
Okay, I know. Well, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. The shaka.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we're over and out.